let's get started because we're late. This course probably isn't a full hour and a half anyways, unless there's questions, and I'll take questions for sure. But what this is all about is, if you're going to decide in your business to host open houses, and, I absolutely feel everyone should, make some attempt to try to do open houses a few times and see what they think of it. I also want to say, for everything you do, persistence matters, because you can do an open house and it'd be in your world a total flop, meaning that it didn't give you the results you expected. But you kind of like the idea of an open house, because an open house is basically, think about it, it's like having a storefront, and you open the door and invite the public in, and hopefully they come in and do business and shop with you, which means that they choose to do business through you. And that's really what an open house is in its design, is to attract people who might be interested in the product, but that particular product may not be the one. And typically it is not the one, but your job is to sell yourself and determine whether or not they're real in the market, and then try to help service them. So that's the values of hosting open houses. It's a lead generation tool. So let's talk about how do you create an open house event with huge success? And so I'm going to give you some detail on that, and hopefully you will take it away. So this class essentially, again, was really designed to been taught on Monday, not Thursday. So we switched two classes around in regards to your tracking and your intensity sheet. And I know everyone has been dedicated and doing all them tasks and marking off their sheet and all that stuff. I'd be real impressed if I saw your sheet, right? How come I don't feel so much confidence going on in here? It is important. So, however, since we switched the classes around, when I teach this, you're going to realize you don't plan an open house on Friday and have it on Saturday, unless you don't want good results. Anything you do takes a lot of things and tasks and energy and activities to make it successful. And so for me to teach this class on Thursday and expect that you're going to have a great, fat, successful open house on Saturday is not realistic. So what we need to do now is plan for an open house, not tomorrow or not Saturday, but the following Saturday. And as I said already to the folks in front of me, is that we have plenty of listings. The brokerage has lots and lots of listings in your market. And so if, for doing your open house, you need, a home to do it in, you may not have a listing, and the expectations is that you don't have a listing. And so we will help facilitate you finding a listing. Actually, I'd like to teach you a little differently. If everyone is not on our Facebook discussion board for the company, you need to join that. If you need the link to join that, I'll give you that. Because it would be really more adamant for you to go in there and ask fellow real estate agents of Florida Luxury Realty and let them know you would be happy to host an open house on a home if anyone has one you can host on. I really think that's what I'd rather teach you, is to do those things yourself. Now, if you don't get any responses, because if 15 of you are going to go in there and blast that now, you may not all get good responses. But typically, you might even see an agent post in there, is anyone interested in doing an open house? So if you guys follow that and kind of read on that daily, you'll find a lot of content, and it's a good platform there where we're interacting and helping each other. But the other side of the coin is, if you need a home to do an open house on, I will help you. Dan will help. Dan McGraw will help you. Greg will help you. Sharice will help you. Because what we want to do is make sure an open house kind of fits a little bit of a criteria that fits what you're focused on. So it won't be where, I would make you do an open house in Lakeland and you do an open house in Sarasota, and we want to do something in your own market. And we also want to try to align you with a home that, makes sense and might get a lot of activity, because that becomes a part of it too. A home out in Hudson, out closer to 41, is out in the middle of nowhere. Well, that will have a factor on how much traffic you get versus a home in Foxwood and Trinity. Okay, and that's important because you want to understand all of this as a strategy point to where you're doing your business and how you're going to reach more consumers. So does that make sense? So the purpose and objectives, we'll review the basics of hosting an open house event. You'll get 5 additional methods that will dramatically increase visitor traffic and overall generate new leads for your business and increase the opportunity to sell the home that you're hosting. We're going to review some scripts for mastering how to influence visitors to choose you as their real estate agent. Remember, what are you selling when they come in the door is yourself, and though they're there to try to focus on the home and determine whether it's right or eliminate it from what they're interested in, you need to be involved and engaged in them, and that's important. So, have you ever visited open houses? Okay. Multiple open houses? Okay. So, have you ever visited an open house where, the agent's right there, engaged with you? And, maybe if you ever visit an open house where they're maybe over-engaged, give me space. See, you got to think about all these little things, right? Or just enough, but there, but not there. And then have you ever visited an open house where you're like looking around when you walk in the door, is anyone here? Yeah. And they're sitting at the kitchen table, playing on their smartphone. Oh yes, help yourself. Why are you there? You're there to engage. You're in there to not overpower them. You got to find that. So there's a lot of concept behind all of this. Provide and review pre-event preparation checklist and post-event follow-up. So what did I call it there? I didn't call it an open house. I called it an event. Mm-hmm. Think about it, it's an event. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what you're doing. You're hosting an event. And that, if you think about it that way, and do I want a sucky event or I want an event that everybody wants to come and be a part of? You got to have the attitude. I want a lot of people to be a part of it. Maximize my time. Time is your most precious product in your business or commodity, and you want it maximized. You don't want to go and host an open house and sit there and sit there and sit there and say, wow, I wish somebody would come in and actually see me in this place. You want to say, geez, I wish I had 2 more people to help me with this place, right? Yeah. Absolutely. How much effort does an average agent put into the success of their open house event? You may or may not know this, but I'll give you, this is what we see. They'll obviously place at least a sign or 2 somewhere around the house to drive traffic, right? They'll open the door so that people can come in or unlock the door. Mm-hmm. And then they may engage or may not even engage with the people that come in. And so it's very, very sad that people don't get it and take initiative to do things. And so in anything you do you feel you might get out what you put in?
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's just basic stuff, but I want you to always think that way. It's like, well, you know what? It sucked. Well, you know what? It sucked what I did to make it happen, and so I put in suck, and it sucked both ways, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what most of them do. And so what do they, so they'll try it 1 or 2 times, and this is the essence. They'll have 3 signs, and they'll hit one at the the main road and one at the corner and then one in front of the house. And then the event's at noon and they're there at 11:55 and then they turn the lights, open the door, and then they're like, okay, hope somebody comes. That's the extent. And so what happens after they do that twice? What's their perspective of open houses?
Thinking it don't work.
Yeah, that sucks. That don't work. Okay? You can literally turn around and then talk to somebody like David Cribbs and say, what do you think about open houses? And what do you think the response of that man's going to be? They are amazing. I can't wait to do another one because I sell so many houses doing it. And the real difference is what he did to make his event work and what the other person didn't do to make this event work. And that's what happens. With any concept in this business is one does more than the other. Okay? More passion into it. What else should an agent always do to make an open house event most successful? How about inviting contacts that you already have?
Or door knocking the day before, the neighbors.
We'll talk about that. So inviting contacts. You have you have a contact space, right? Am I talking about buyer contacts? No, I'm talking about just contacts. Hey, do you know why just contacts? Why would I just say, hey, if all you were just my friends,
They may
come to have an house.
They may know somebody looking.
So it's another element to keep putting yourself out there, right? What is it doing to what's the message that it delivers to the people that you're inviting, that you're working, that you're out there, you're succeeding, you've got a house and you're representing it and you're working. So I could just say to my friend, you know what? Hey, if you're out on a Saturday drive, I'm going to be over here at this address. It's a beautiful home. Pop in and just see me and say hi. Are many of them actually going to do that? No. But what you're doing is also keeping yourself in front of those people because one of your activities is always to keep yourself top of mind, right? The more you keep yourself top of mind of people that you know, especially in actually connected to doing real business in real estate, then does that enhance the opportunity that potentially you might get business from them or through them? Absolutely, yes. And that's why, or even better yet, you turn on a light that says, wow, we were just thinking about shopping for homes, and you hit the magic button at the right time, and they're like, oh, let's go see Scott and check out that house he's got, and then you get engaged with him. So it's that way. So anymore, so I've been manually sending the emails every morning to this group. And when I send you the email, do you see everybody else I'm sending the email to?
No.
But it looks like I'm sending it to myself, right? Okay, so I'm sending an email to everybody, so you know how I do that. I blind carbon copy all of you, so you don't see each other's email address in my email. So it looks like I personally sent an email to you. That's how you do it. So you utilize your contact space and maybe group up the type, put people in groups and categories how you want, or you do the whole thing, and so in essence, you write one email, you tag them all as blind carbon copy, and you push the go button, and they all get the message at the same time. That doesn't take long, right? It definitely isn't worth it. Place advertisements, what do I mean by that? Where's one of the new, prominent place to market, that doesn't cost you a dime, and social media. I didn't have social media, folks, when I was doing it. They didn't exist yet. So social media is easy. That's an easy one. MLS, absolutely. you should always put it in MLS, because what is MLS also going to help you do? That's one of the first places. So if you don't know this, you go into the MLS and you pull up your listing, and I don't know if you have to edit it or whatever, you can tell it you're going to have an open house. Put the date and times of your open house in there, and it's in. So how does our listings get on Realtor.com? How does our listings get on Zillow? How does our listings get anywhere on the internet? The MLS. So it's what they call syndication. So once you put a property in MLS and market active, these other entities or these places online pick up the data and share it. Okay, it's called IDX, Information Data Exchange. It's designed to do that. So it does do it open houses. Now that home search site has to accommodate showing that particular segment of data, but Zillow and Realtor.com, your two big ones, both do. So it's an announcement that way. Okay. Also, your smartphone app. If you don't know this, smartphone app is data spread from the MLS, and there's actually a button. One of the front buttons when they open the app is, where's the open houses?
What app is this?
Oh, yeah.
And your personal app. You're like, what? Can withdraw. No, you definitely need that app. So, place advertisement, social media. So what is one of the dominant ways to do social media advertising?
We don't have to update our ads now.
No, it's feed. Yes, it's auto-fed.
Okay.
I'll be honest, what is the most valuable type of post in social media today? What gets the most attention? Trumps everything. Video. And if I ask you right now, how comfortable do you feel doing video? You may say, no. I can tell you, it took me a while, but it's like anything else. It took me a while to want to do public speaking in any manner. I'll be honest about it. But now it's like, it's no big deal. You have to retrain yourself and re-give yourself a different level of confidence. So I actually did a quick video before I shot over here this morning, saying, hey, I'm excited today. I get to go teach.
That's actually how I knew about this class. I watched your
The
video.
And I'm also beta testing, and this is a little off topic, but it's all valuable, right? I'm beta testing in my own world, saying you should do this. You should always trial and test what's going to help you get more results. Everything should be results driven. And so when I realized, when I started posting on social media recently, it's like they just keep changing what they call an algorithm and just just cranking and tightening it down to the visibility of free promotion. Why? Because Facebook lives off of you spending money on advertisement, and they've got it tight now to where even though when you post, you just assume so many people are seeing it, and unfortunately, technically not. But what I can tell you, in the way I did my video this morning, so I still have an uncomfort doing a live even trumps recorded, but recorded video trumps pictures, and pictures trump text, okay, so that's the way it works. But whenever I mention the word Florida Luxury Realty or put a hashtag of a certain, business related, so in my text, if I put any words that could be related to a business activity, it just doesn't show. If I put my logo on the picture or the video, you do realize that Facebook can recognize people's pictures, right? They can actually read a picture and decipher if it's a business related piece. So if you made and took a picture of your flyer for your open house and it has content that looks like business related, they tuck it. So if you read my post, I decided no logos, no commercialization, and then all I said is, I'm excited today, I love this. And then I did a video, and I can confidently tell you after this class, if I look at that video, I'll probably have 10 times the view rate than the previous video where the silly thing had the logo in it. So I'm practicing how do I circumvent Facebook's algorithm and get better exposure for myself out of it. So I had to, not tell any words that related to what I was saying. So now all I'm doing is relying on them to watch the video.
So you're saying that even our connections don't see it?
They don't all. That's what they are doing.
Some of them will, some of them won't.
Some will, some won't, and it's be very sporadic. It's just they're really
It
tight.
certainly doesn't go out publicly.
Well, it does, but it's just very limited. It's very limited down, but you can circumvent it. I'm just giving you some hints. I'm getting way off topic here, but provide flyers and use a guest registry. Everybody understand how quickly and simple it is to have an open house flyer through Florida Luxury Realty, right? You just push a button. Now, here's something to know. If it's your listing, you put it in MLS. Our system automatically then backwards picks up the dates of your open house, so you don't have to manually put the dates to create the flyer because we already know what the dates are. That's how brilliant our system is. Artificial intelligence. Love that, right? So here's something to know. What is it you sell? What is it you sell? Yourself. Okay. So when you have your property flyers for the listing in your open house, is that's sufficient? So I print out that open house flyer, Scott's website made for me, and it's pretty and tells all the good stuff about the property and has some pictures and tells the details and shows how many bedrooms it has, and it's a wonderful listing. What should you do in addition?
Flyer about us.
Absolutely. Why you need the page about you and your services and why you're such a great realtor and why their values of choosing you. So if you go, and so it's kind of broken up, and maybe that's something we should do is put it together. But if you go into just the marketing, my marketing and buyer handouts, I think it's the third one over from the top. It has two charts. It's not necessarily the prettiest thing, but if you read that, it says, this is how I provide my services compared to the average agent, setting yourself immensely apart, way more valuable to the customer, right? That's what you need to do. And
under what section of the flyer?
so under my marketing, actually, I can probably show you the actual one.
Is it this one? No, there it is.
Yeah, third one. Yes. You need to read this to make sure this is what you can live up to. But it's simple, folks. It's really simple, and this is what sets me apart from the others that might be trying to do business for you. Okay? So what would you do with this page if this was my listing flyer? I would print this on the back side. So you can put it through the printer, flip the paper over, put it back in the printer, and print this on the opposite side. Hopefully those online can follow what I'm saying. So if you go to My Marketing, Buyer Handouts, the third one on the top row. Okay. So then when you have the client, the prospective buyers coming through the door, the prospective people coming in through the door at your open house, I would, hey there, I would basically intentionally hand them this. I would show this side up about me, and then I would, I would basically, I would hold it with the flyer side up about the property, but I would turn it over and show them, so that I give them presence to take and pay attention to this side. So when these people leave the property, you give them something to review and it tells yourself. That's what you need to do. That's why you're doing the open house. Provide flyers, guest registry. So if you make the open house flyer in the back office under marketing center, when it creates the flyer, there's a button, download the flyer. Right below that, it'll say download guest registry. So you'll print the guest registry out as well. And you need to, the skill set part that we'll teach you as far as the scripts go is convincing them to give you who they are and how to contact them back when they walk into the property or when they're at the property. Won't say while they walk in. I'll talk about that in a minute. So what other actions can we include in preparation to make it a mega success? Mega success. I gave you a few. What else?
Inviting the neighbors, letting them know.
Inviting the neighbors. Absolutely a big, huge one. Anything else?
I could get that.
Bags. That might be work. I don't know that you need to go to that extent.
Where do you stand on raffles though, maybe?
A raffle might, that would be, so what would be, you got to understand what's your purpose of each one. You could market in your marketing piece in advance about a raffle so that so what you're trying to do, drive more people there. But while people come in, how can they possibly be eligible for the raffle?
Well, it's kind of like drop your email address.
So you're driving a better way to potentially make sure you have their contact information, because the only way that I can give you the prize is if you give me the ability to contact you after the event, right? Absolutely. So that's a good one. So improve signage. Include neighbors welcome on the open house yard sign. So if you get the yard signs from the office, and we just was in the closet because the internet wasn't working here, and we could barely climb over the open house signs that we have here available for you. And so I say that because use multiple signs at major roadways. You did an open house, and I had signs all the way out on the main roads. I had, just to get to the one corner to turn, there were 3 or 4 signs almost spaced only about 4 to 5 feet apart, instead of just one at the corner. Okay, so they were down the center median. They were down both sides of the road at both major intersections. And then when you got to the road to turn into the community, there were like 6 more signs. And then when you got in, there were a couple in front of the property. But you don't miss it. There's absolutely, it gives a vision that it's a big, something big going on. It's huge. It grabs their attention. And make sure, because if not, most of us were driving around as we're almost passing the sign. Oh, looks like there's a sign. I don't know what it was. It was an open house, a yard sale, whatever. You almost pass it before you see it. When you do a huge amount of signs, you're going to draw extra people to. In David's Cribs world, is like 10 signs to 1 extra customer. Okay, so if he told you, he would say you should use 100 signs to every open house. That's dramatic, but that's what he does. His open house events draw 30 to 50 buyers in a 2-hour period. So how could I tell him he's wrong when he's proven me that he's right? Place balloons on the yard sign starting from major roadways. that's something else you could do. That's easy. And if you do that, then it definitely creates a separate attention to the direction of the signs that you're putting out, because, okay, that one, the last sign before I turned the corner had balloons on it. Now I see balloons on signs over here. So that must be the right ones, because you literally, have you ever drove to maybe an open house or an event or a yard sale, and it's like, well, geez, was there a sign? I didn't see where to turn next and stuff like that. So you want to give them good, clear direction to get to the home, and that adds to that element. So place signs a day or two in advance. It also says be aware of locations that would be in violation of ordinances. The best that you can do, if that's you can do that, maybe not stick all 100 of them out, but if you can stick some out a day or so in advance, what does that mean? Because I may be traveling, I'm a buyer, so I'll put myself in a buyer's position. I'm traveling home on a Friday afternoon from work, and I happen to see a sign. Now, that sign you need to either tape something to it or something to say, well, the event is actually not till tomorrow at noon, open house tomorrow, Saturday at noon, whatever. But it might catch my eye because it's through the pathway from work to home, but not necessarily where I would be traveling around once I get home for the weekend. So could I catch an extra opportunity? Yes. And that's why. So you're going to build up the potential audience by, again, marketing in advance, in hopes that you'll get some travelers to come back when the event actually happens. But also be aware, and I can't put my handle on it, but once in a while, I don't know if it's a county person that gets angry about seeing signs, but sometimes they come up missing. I don't. There's a possibility you could lose your $5 signs, but.
Would you say Saturday is a better day over Sunday too?
I can't say it, but I would say if you do it for me, I go to church, and I'd be more apt to go to an open house after church hours, so noon, 1 o'clock-ish.
Gotcha.
So if it is a Sunday, I don't know that there's any right or wrong answer to that. I do feel that your open houses should be 3 to 4 hours in length. If you're going to go and make it all happen, at least stay long enough to get the most out of it. So if it was a Saturday, maybe 10:30, 11 till 2, something like that. If it's a Sunday, probably maybe start at noon till 3, and you'll catch that traffic as well. So nothing wrong with doing it both days,
Yeah.
So people do it during the week. I don't know, I can't measure how effective that is. I think it's more common areas to do it during the week. You're gonna get more traffic. Again, if it comes down to maximum time value for time, that's what we're really seeking for. A Saturday or Sunday is always going to trump any other day of the week. So we can also announce the open house in MLS. We already spoke about that. Post 2 days prior online and in your social media. So, you might even start 3 days before. But you need to promote it. If you can get yourself to do video and maybe go to the property and say, I can't wait, I'm going to be here Saturday, waiting for anyone that's interested in a beautiful whatever home, and it's in the background and you're talking, and there's you want to give enough to everything you do, you have to skill up and learn the values of what we call to action. Brilliant advertising has call to action. What is call to action? It means you tease the consumer enough to grab their attention if they might be interested and get them to take action. So you want to drive their curiosity to drive them to be curious enough the action you want them to take is what? To come to the open house event. So if you can show some really cool bullet points about that property and describe it, and I can't believe this house is under 250,000. You may not tell them the exact price. Not many places you can find a home today with 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, a pool, conservation lot for under 250. This is a family's dream. If you might be interested, I will be here. Message me below and I'll give you the address. What was my call to action there?
Message me below.
Message me below because you don't know exactly where it is. But I just blew out some curiosity because anyone out there that's like, we need a bigger home for the family and we really like a pool, what did you do? You satisfied that and you have that now. And now they want to know how, where is this thing? See what you're doing there? Now you can message them back, and now you're creating a relationship, and then say, okay, well, private message, and here's the address. Hope you come. Is there anything I can share with you in advance? Now you're getting leads prior to even the event happening. See, call to action, big thing you got to learn how to do. Okay, post 2 days online, maybe 3 days. All the social media. We have a social media class, crush lead generation with Facebook. But there are techniques that if you don't use things like Twitter, you don't use Facebook, you use Instagram and this or that. I primarily use Facebook and LinkedIn. But if you don't know this, you can actually have all of them. And for instance, if you only posted the video on Facebook, did you realize that the system can automatically repost it on your Twitter and your link in your Instagram without doing anything? No, Facebook system. So if you go to facebook.com/Twitter or facebook.com/Instagram, you can connect your Facebook account to those accounts. Then anything you post in Facebook will automatically repost in those social medias.
And it works for LinkedIn too.
Not LinkedIn. Instagram, I believe, and for sure Twitter. That's how you save time and do that. We talked about personally invite 50 or more existing contacts using email template. There is, so I'll probably send it out, all the scripts and stuff. I don't know if they came in the Monday email.
Which one?
For the open house stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so one of them is the open house event preparation action plan. I'll click. So this really is everything you need to do to prepare. So this is suggesting you prepare 3 days in advance, start prepping your event. And this gives you an exact folks, exact detailed checklist that if you just fulfilled and followed and did these items, your event's going to be successful. So not only do we tell you to invite 50 people from your sphere of influence, at least, and it doesn't take any much effort to do it to 100 people or 200 people, or, whatever you have. And then we actually give you the body of the email. Hi, whoever their name is. If you're doing a broadcast one where you have the ability to insert the names, which you can. So if you use Gmail, if you didn't know this, you can actually add the correct code where you would want their name, and it would actually pick the name from your database and insert it so everyone looks personal. Hope all is well with you. This weekend I'll be hosting an open house at address on this coming day from start time to end time. If you're in the area, please stop by. I'd love to see you. If you know anyone who's looking for and give them a little bit of property description, feel free to forward this along to them, and I hope to see them come by and visit. So you're asking them. Really simple. You know, how many will come? I don't know. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if none of them show up, and there's a probability none of them will show up. So what is happening there is you've just created another reason to keep in front of the people and for what information I'm delivering to them. I'm working, I'm out succeeding, I'm out selling my real estate like I'm doing. It creates trust, it creates top of mind, all these things happen. So you're not necessarily always doing things for that specific need only. You're doing it that creates other opportunities in all of your actions. Okay, so 2 days prior, put the signs out if you can. You also should, when somebody comes into your listing, would it not be valuable to have a 3-ring binder or something that had information about the other homes around you that are for sale, so that you can share that information with them and show them information like that? Absolutely, and where they are located. Now you know there's a double-edged sword to that. What is it?
You can go buy the other one without you.
They go buy the other one without you. So you know you have to skill up and discern what you've created enough rapport, or if one of them that because you study this in advance, when they come in and they look at the home and it's not quite the match, and they just start describing the perfect home, and well, wait, that perfect home is right in here. So now you can kind of share with them a little bit, say, actually that perfect home is here, and you might talk with them, you create more rapport and create connection, and then say, is this a possibility? Do you have time later today to see another home in the neighborhood? I'll go ahead and set up the appointment for us, and then divulge the property, at the same time with them. But you have to have your skill set to create commitment. You have to give them, you got a commitment. So if you're able to set an appointment, then there's no need for them to go set another appointment for the same property now, because you were willing and able to create that appointment at that moment. So very important. 1 day prior, this one is very big. I don't know if it's on the slideshow as well, but knock on doors, invite neighbors. So this would be an effective door knocking time. Absolutely amazing. And you get the scripts. I haven't touched the scripts in forever, but guess what I know? I know the scripts. I know exactly what to say and how to say it, because I did it, okay? So what is it you do when you go to the door? You have the scripts, it's Monday, right? Oh, no, you've been studying these things if you're doing open house.
What email are you referring to?
So every Monday's email usually has an attachment for all the stuff that you learn during the week for intensity. Nope. No, from me. Are you in the intensity emails? Okay. All right. Well, I'll make sure you get it, and then if you're following the intensity program, we'll do it. But so I go to the door. So first of all, let me back up here. I'm pulling in the neighborhood, and it says the Waters. Does anybody know where the Waters is? Mm-hmm. There's no guard gate at this one. I know what that is. Okay, so whatever the neighborhood's name, and then underneath that beautiful scripted logo of the Waters, it says no solicitation. All right, so no solicitation. Is that pretty common in any community? Pretty much, it's like we can't call them on the phone, we can't knock on the door, we can't. How do we sell ourselves anymore, right? I will drive right by that thing and say, no problem. Why? Because what am I doing? I'm inviting them to an event in the neighborhood. I'm not trying to sell them a house. I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm just inviting him to an event. So when we choose people to service or when, to do services for ourselves, do we want people that are skilled, hardworking, all these things? Right. Okay, so I go and I make the decision. Go out and the day before. First of all, I want to go backwards. I'm going to give you a statistic. This is kind of shocking, that when a home goes up for sale in a neighborhood, typically within 30 to 45 days, another home will go up for sale within 15 doors of that home. Is that weird?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're trying to uncover here. So I go up to the home, I knock on the door. What do I have with me? And the flyer, right? The flyer. The event, the flyer on the event. What is on the other side?
Yeah.
Me. So the flyer. So, hello, my name is Scott Barrett. I'm with Florida Luxury Realty, and I'm working hard for one of your neighbors, and I'm hosting an open house event. We're trying to sell our home. We're trying to, keep good values of the homes in your market. And I thought I would just personally invite the neighbors, because I typically know that a neighbor usually knows someone that would like to live in your neighborhood. I'm gonna nod. I have all the skill set. And I was just wondering, who do you know that would be interested in moving in your neighborhood?
My brother.
Your brother would like to live, and where does he currently live?
Georgia.
Georgia?
Yes.
Okay, does he have, a timeline when he'd like to live in Florida? Not yet?
Say.
Okay. Is he still currently employed and stuff up there?
Yes.
Okay, so, do you think he'd be interested in knowing about homes in your neighborhood?
Absolutely.
Very good. So, is there, can I get your permission? Would you be able to share the contact information of your brother?
Yes.
Okay, very good. But I'd like to also give you the flyer. And you know what? I would like to, invite you over. Maybe you understand your brother's, what he likes. So why don't you come over Saturday at 10 o'clock? Also, I don't know. I have these delicious cookies going to be there. My grandmother's recipe. They're delicious, and maybe you can just stop in and have a cookie with me. Okay. Perfect.
Absolutely.
Thank you. One more question before I leave. I'm just curious, when are you going to sell the home?
Oh, I love this home. I'm not going anywhere.
You're not going anywhere? It's a great neighborhood, right?
Yes.
Well, I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Okay, so what happened there?
Yeah.
I mean, I got a lead.
Yeah.
The lead is maybe a distance off, but I got approval. I got contact information. I could start the opportunity. I could have her come over, kind of screen the home, create bigger relationship with her. She will help me secure him as a customer now, for sure. Okay? So there are going to be two types of neighbors that come over to the home. Well, three. One, for the cookies. The other, to see what's going on and what competition looks like. Okay? The competition. So, what competition to what? Competition to their home. How does that home compare to my home? And what's the price? And they're making their own analysis using that home against their own home to kind of gauge what their home might be valued. And that's what you got to feed into. So everyone that comes into your open house, you have to determine what are these people? They're just out on a Sunday drive? Are they truly interested? Are they gauging themselves to make a move in the future? And then are they sellers or buyers? So if you just presume that everybody coming through the door is a buyer, you have to learn this, and you got to analyze them and determine who they really are, because they really could be a seller then a buyer. It could be a lot of different things. So that's what the value is. So the third one that comes in, neighbor. What is that neighbor? That is, does anyone have nosy neighbors?
I was gonna say
The nosy neighbor, right? Okay, so the nosy neighbor, is the nosy neighbor a good thing?
Yes.
It could depend. Are they gossip?
They
It
do.
depends on, does
Oh, yeah.
the majority
yeah.
appreciate them or like, oh, they always avoid them, so you never know. But your job is to try to figure that out by conversation. It's like, who else do you know? And, they're the ones that will like screw your whole time up when other customers are walking in, right? So, because all they do is want to talk. Well, you know what? That's like great. And you know everybody, and you are now my home run because here is 55 of my cards. Go for it. And they'll just spread your name, help spread your name through the neighborhood and give you opportunity, especially if you have to gauge them to figure out is it really good for this or bad for me. And if they're prizing, it's how people talk. Are they, is everything always negative or is something positive? So if they're making positive comments, then they're probably a good type. If they're like always, if all the conversation is about how this neighbor doesn't do this right, and that neighbor that's probably not, we don't really want to go there. Like, okay, well, here's some cookies. Have a nice day. But so that's what you're looking for. What you're looking for is for opportunities, and that could be a great opportunity. I look for that, and then I wrote on that. And like, okay, good, share myself out because they'll start telling you, well, Mrs. Smith and her husband died, and I think she's getting ready to sell her house, and da 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 da, and like good, let's do this. So that's what the value is there. And packing up for the day of. I'm not going to go through this. You understand it's there. So go live on Facebook. We already talked about that. A Facebook Live will market your open house events in a big way. Okay. And I try to talk a little bit about technique and not necessarily, make it commercialized, especially in the text or anything like that. And don't put the logo in the video or anything, but also, again, create a call to action. Don't necessarily tell them where it's at. Tell them how to get the information so that they can come. Therefore, they're going to have to contact you. Simple. Just send me a private message, and I'll send you the address. Great. So you're interested in buying a home. And that's giving you more opportunity. Do a quick teaser announcing the event. Do a quick video just before the start time again. So you might do multiple videos to just keep pumping the opportunity out there. Property flyers with About You on the backside. I've actually covered this already. The property flyer is essential, but remember, you are selling you, and therefore, on the reverse side of the flyer, it should be all about you and the benefits the buyer will receive by choosing to have you assist and represent them in finding and purchasing the home. And so the image on there is actually the correct one if you go to the My Marketing. In that you don't have to rely on the things that we make, folks. You can build your own, if you want. But if you read that, and what's in the yellow orangey color or the gold color, that's supposed to be the level of service you're providing in comparison to what the average agent provides. It's setting you apart. But if you don't know what that says, don't be handing out stuff you don't know what it says, because that's what you're telling them that you do and what you live up to. Very easy to do though. Personally invite the neighbors 1 day prior, go door to door, inviting 100 plus. Use the open house event door knock, and I just said the door knocks, right? And that's not even in front of me, it's real simple. So again, not soliciting, it's just an invitation to a neighborhood event. And the true thing you're demonstrating in the process is I'm hardworking. I'm willing to get out and sweat it. I'm willing to get out and personally meet you and door knock. That's a lot.
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but that's the kind of person I would be interested in hiring for myself if I was in the realm of getting real estate services done, because I just don't see that too much anymore. Here's one that will really rock it off the sheets. Double the event as a garage sale. In my experience of selling homes, and I sold a lot of homes where I was a listing agent, and I can't even tell you the number of times that after we got the home under contract, that the owners of the property then, needed to liquidate a bunch of extra stuff that they have and have a moving sale, or they call it a garage sale, moving sale, whatever. And then talking to them after that, them telling me that I think I could have sold my home 10 times today. Everybody that came wanted to know if the home was still for sale. I'm serious. It's crazy. Yard sales, moving sales, garage sales in Florida is immense, big deal. People show up at these things at 5 a.m. They want to be the first ones to see what they can grab for nothing. It's amazing. So imagine doing that. Just saying, and trust me, if you do this, you can't be the only one inside doing this because there's too much traffic. Obviously, people didn't go there for the open house as much as they did the yard sale or the moving sale, but it seems like everyone knows somebody is what will happen. So you're inside hosting the event, they're outside in the garage liquidating the extras, right? You help them market it through social media, Craigslist, and all that stuff, so you're going to up the amount of people there. But 40% of them are going to want to tour the house. So you're touring the house and they're telling you, well, we're moving, or, well, my sister wants to move to Florida. Well, my brother-in-law, well, my neighbor, and you're like collecting. You'll get a ton of people through there. And it works very well. So you help the homeowner by helping promote their yard sale, which helps promote the open house, and it's a dual event, and there'll be traffic everywhere. So, no, it's a traffic security guy acting at all. Just kidding. It'll be a super event, so I don't know if anyone's ever thought of that. Additional helpful tips. Using these things, the open house event preparation action plan, and then the open house post-event action plan, which I showed you the pre-event, but the post-event. So anytime you have an event, and perhaps you've never hosted an event before, but when you collect leads, you have to react and follow up. So you have to be prepared to follow up immediately with these leads and get right on them. So you need to collectively have all the notes and be able to react to them immediately. And this includes that, what happened at the event to the seller. If you're hosting an event for another real estate agent because it's not your listing, trust me, the value of immediately contacting them and letting them know in detail how the event is. Hey, went pretty good. I had 6 people come through. One seems like they might be highly interested. I'm not sure. I'm going to follow up with them. But then also to send that information by email. I'm going to send you an email shortly because I know your seller's going to want to know what's going on. One more thing, if you want to put yourself in a position where if you're able to do this for a more significant listing agent in the company, and you want to earn the opportunity with them again, you should put a personal thank you card in the mail to that agent, and then thanking them for providing your listing to be able to do the open house on. And therefore, you're locking yourself into a future opportunity with that agent to do more events for their listings. As a agent in the business myself, I'll just kind of give you my perspective. I'll be honest, when I say this, I didn't do open houses. That wasn't really my game. I know what it can do and the values of it, but you only have so much time in the day, and so I preferred a different thing, and it was to get listings. So I often had agents that did open houses on my listings because I didn't do them. I was more adamant to go out and increase my inventory of listings, and so I know how that all works. If you need, so here's the thing, if you need the content for this class, obviously just go in the back office, go to Ask Luxy and use the keyword open house event. And there's an entire 20-page document that has everything you need. The preparation, the post-event action plan, all the scripts. Now, people coming in the door. I don't know if that's in here. In case it's not, I'm going to stop there. So there's scripts for the people coming in the door. You have to engage. Again, you don't want to overpower somebody. You want to engage. You might feel that they look like they would like a little bit of space, so you distance yourself but follow behind still. And you can't just sit there and look like a lump sitting in a chair. It isn't going to work that way. How do you get people to give you their contact information and register? That's important. Do you do it right at the door? Do you they walk in under the threshold and you're like, stop. Put your name on there, put your phone number. You guard it like that? I don't think so, see? That's what we might try to do, but you don't want to do that. You might say, my owners, have an obligation of me that I get to get everybody's contact information that comes in the home. I have to give that to the owner, and I hope you respect that. If they're kind of shy about that, just walk them around, draw more rapport. Don't shove it down. I'll be honest. Anything you do, they will agree to when what happens. What happens? They trust. They trust. They will restrict you or reject you until they trust you. So when they become very apprehensive about writing their name and contact information on there, if you push them, just kind of tell you the phone number might go to, you dial the number and somebody that's not who answers the phone. So you're like, back off and then you just re-ask before they leave. I appreciated that you came in and again, as I told you when you came in, that the owners have, I have an obligation to give them information about everybody that came in the door. Would you be so kind to do that? Can you use other ways? Michael said, yes, do a drawing. That would be one other way. So, hey, do you want to win the $100 gas card? Great. I'd love to. Hope you're the winner, but I sure hope I can get a hold of you when you win. In order for me to give you that gas card, I need to know how to contact you to let you know. What's another way? Remember, Graham is delicious cookies. So when you walk in the door, you smell some baking, and there's some there, and they are amazing. Would you like that cookie? Would you like that recipe? Very secret recipe. It's delicious cookies. And I'd love to share that with you. All I need is your email address. I'll make sure I send that to you. So you gotta use creativity. And that's you just need to understand you need to be able to communicate after the event with these people that walk through the home. And that's what so you gotta get that information, but don't, as much as you would like to ask them and politely ask them to do it when they walk in the door, if they don't seem like they're interested in doing that at that moment, just back off. Say, okay, well, let's go look at that. Let's go tour the property. And then you engage. You gotta gauge, gotta ask them questions. So why are we shopping homes? Is this for you or is this for somebody you know? What kind of lifestyle are you seeking? Tell me a little bit. Do you have children? What? And then, answer. Where are you from? You got to share some storyline too. All that's important. Apply the open house event accountability actions, and your open house event is guaranteed to be an overwhelming mega success. Any other questions? Yes.
So when you are hosting an open house, and let's say you get a good crowd, and I assume a good crowd in there, more people are walking in. So you engage with people who are walking in. Would you let people kind of walk around and do their own thing? You don't necessarily guide them. Correct?
You need to be in vicinity to be able to monitor them
Of course.
because of safety reasons
Well,
and
nice.
because of theft. Okay, and you got to gauge people, and then and so in the safety world, we don't have people follow us into rooms. We point them and we follow them into rooms. Why? Because if we were to get attacked, we need to be the closest to the exit. Otherwise, we're trapped in the room. Okay, so that's a safety issue. But you kind of need to give them a space, but trying to be close enough to know exactly where their hands and stuff are going, because
So you just want to kind of mingle around.
Yeah, and mingle. So you just you need to open up some dialogue somehow. And you got to come up with your creative ways to create dialogue. And to me, it would be simple things like, I'm just kind of curious, have you always been in Florida? Most people didn't. They come from another place, and some have. It's like, oh, wow. So when you got one that has, like, wow, you're a rarity, So a lot of people are from similar locations: New York, Michigan, Canada, Chicago. You then mingle off of that. This community has, utilize some of the lifestyle things around the community to see if those are connecting points for them. That one of the features of the community is a golf course. You happen to play golf, and so sometimes you got to learn a little bit about other things that you may not necessarily have interest in. It doesn't mean you have to go too deep in it, because I can honestly say, well, that's interesting. I've really never taken on golf, so and that's okay. But you have to be able to connect with people, and you have to have conversation and draw out information and share the same thing and find how to connect with them and communication, and then get approval. Do you mind? There was one huge thing that I didn't talk about here, and which is very successful. Before somebody leaves the open house, generally they came to the open house because they saw directive signs. So the majority of your people that come will probably be from the signage. Some of them will be from the social media. Some maybe because of Zillow. All the different reasons. A lot of them will be the signage. So the signage, I'm just going to kind of assume what brought you to my open house today? I saw your video. Okay, great. I saw the signs. Okay, great. And so obviously you're out just driving around, then, correct? Yes, and just scouting neighborhoods and stuff. How would you like a tool that, as you pass by a home with the yard sale sign in it, that from your smartphone you can immediately see everything about that property? Would that be awesome?
Yeah.
Great. I'd like to give that to you right now. I have an app And it does exactly that. It engages with GPS, and as you're driving by a home for sale, it automatically shows you everything about that home, including all the interior photos. Can I do that right now?
Of course, yes.
Great. So give me your mobile phone, and I'm gonna share it with you to your mobile phone right now. So now you get that information, you share that app, you say, okay, I'm gonna send it to your phone. Do you mind? Grab their phone, open up the text message, open up and put the app on there, and let me just show you just a couple little things so that you understand how cool this app is. And then just show them a little bit about how to use it and say it was really a pleasure to have you, and I'm hopeful that tool will be very helpful to you. Coolest thing in the world. Now you just put yourself in their phone.
Right.
You can track what they're doing with the app from your side. You now have their phone number. And now so you just provided a tool, you provided a service that benefited them and their other agent if they have one. So you always have that question, I'm just curious, are you working with a real estate agent already? They may grumble and say yes. You have to see how engaged they are about that question. So if they're like, oh yes, we have a great agent, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, there's probably not a lot of room there. Oh yeah, we've been kind of working with an agent. Well, there's room there, right? You don't sound really excited about that agent, so let's see what we can do here, right? So there's opportunity. That doesn't shut you down from the opportunity. So you just have to figure it out. But then you also want to understand them and say, hey, we saw, I was driving by home from work yesterday and I saw that you were having an open house today. So I told my wife, and that's why we're here. Okay, well, putting them out a day early was a good thing, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but, unfortunately, I just came back because this is the neighborhood that we're dreaming of living in, but we're not really ready yet. We have to sell our home. Okay, so what are you going to ask them? In the scripture, say, okay, so just let me ask you, is your home on the market already? No, we just, we got to do all this stuff and da 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 da. Okay, so really how I can help you now, and my time is free, let's set up an appointment. Let me come over and give you some guidance, because you certainly don't want to spend money on things that aren't going to give you a return, right? So we want to make sure we maximize what we get out of your home. So can we do that tomorrow? Today's Saturday, you probably go to church, maybe 3 o'clock tomorrow. I can come by and we can do that. Mm-hmm. Now you're setting yourself up for a listing opportunity with a future opportunity to own in that neighborhood. That's why. So people have dreams that are generally outside of where they're able to make a move at the moment. Some people are ready to go, and some people aren't. And you have to then help travel them through and give them the guidance to get to where they need to be to make that happen. That makes sense? Yeah. Okay, do I still have an audience?
Yeah.
Okay. Hope you all can hear me. Hope you didn't have any questions. Good information. Because I think, does anybody want to see a funny video? Got to laugh before we leave. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Last week I set up hidden cameras in an open house in Burbank, and I sent one of my writers, Jamie, there. She dressed up as a realtor named Renata, and it's a segment we're calling Renata, the Not Real Realtor. I gave her 3 challenges. She had to take a phone call from her boyfriend, she had to sing a popular song, and she had to make a blowfish face on a window. These poor people. Let's see how she did. Renata, the not real realtor. She's not a really real realtor. Yeah. Around this empty house, tear us down, throw you out, screaming down the hall. How long have you guys been looking for a house? Always a perfect start. Well, sometimes the first one is all you need. This is the dining room. Oh yeah. people who live here are germaphobes. So I was wondering if you could help me out by just putting these booties on. Perfect. Just because they're just kind of crazy.
Yes.
Too. That's great. LA, you know? This is the day of the house. Sit right here, and I want to show you that these doors are actually soundproof.
Okay.
So. Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm sorry. Hearing a great feature of the house, and you guys have kids, so. We did not go in this room. It's where the crime happened. Everyone's There's the master bedroom. You guys don't have kids yet, but that's where this happens. My phone is buzzing. Just give me 1 second.
That's not
Right now. At work. Do not turn this around on me. Do not. You will not hang up on me. I hang up on you. You will not hang up on me. Okay. We'll talk about this when I get home. Right. Oh, do you guys want to see something? Do you guys want to see their underwear? Oh, no. Let's go back through this way. And let's talk about an offer. Check that out.
Oh.
Well, I know you guys think that you've been dealing with a crazy person, but I'm not really a realtor. I work for the Ellen Show, and you guys are on camera. There are cameras there, and there are cameras there. Wave to Ellen. Thank you guys so much for being great sports. Did you want to say something else?
Dragging him outside.
Oh, okay. That was fun, huh? Oh.
Well, that's how we're supposed to do it, right?
No. Can't answer what might happen. But, anyways, it was a great class, and perfect time. I'm going to say today. So, your goal is to hunker down with that material now and look to do an open house following Saturday, not this Saturday, not enough time, and implement these things. Realize what they do. If you implement everything I showed you, you're gonna come in Monday morning with customers that you didn't have. Perfect. Is that what we're looking for? Remember, there's only 2 things you need in this business. You need customers, and you need to nurture them through opportunities. And then the rest of it it's just an easy process, right? So appreciate your time today, and thank you.